Awakening with your host, Yeni.
Welcome to Celestial Awakenings with Yeni, and I am your host, Yeni. This podcast is about my journey through struggle, stigma, and spiritual awakening. Each episode uncovers a piece of my divine feminine hidden in my everyday life, inviting you to listen, reflect, and reconnect with your own sacred power. Today, we're going to discuss who am I when no one else is watching? Enjoy. Hi, thanks for joining me. So, I came up with this bright idea that it was important for me to create this series. So I created the Who Am I series, and it's going to be 5 parts. I thought it was important to talk about who we are because that's the first question we really need to ask ourselves when we start on that road of self-healing. You got to know who you are in order to know what to cultivate. So I need to flush that out. So stick around. I'm looking for your feedback. I'm looking for comments. And I just want to remind you that by me telling my story, I want this to be a platform to support you on yours. And I say that because when I look back, I was very withdrawn throughout the entire time. And that's because I didn't know who to trust. And I didn't trust myself. I didn't know how to trust myself to know who to trust. My level of discernment was skewed as a result of traumatic experiences. So I encourage I encourage everyone to look for a support group. Support group could be whatever that you need it to be. Your pastor, your therapist, your best friend, a trusted family member, anyone, to create a circle of support to protect you while you're in this vulnerable stage of your life. So, let me just do a little recap. In my very first episode, I did a story, and it was called My Origin Story: How I Lost My Voice. I believe this is where the Who Am I series came from, because once I lost my voice, which is my truth, I developed a persona that conformed into whatever that was allowable or acceptable in my environment at the time. Okay? And that started with my family environment, which rolled over into my friends and my the workplace, and so on. So part of that part of what came from that was performance versus presence. So with performance, what you say or do that's culturally or socially acceptable, just to keep the peace, right? And then there's the presence. With presence, you're just enjoying the moment and the surroundings that you're in at that time, just being in the moment. So that's with presence. So it leads to my core question: who are you without an audience? And I want to unpack that a little bit. I would like to share my story with you. So, I'm the eldest of 4 children from my mother, and I have a sibling that's 5 years younger than me. And from the moment that my sibling was born, I had to set an example for all of my siblings and younger cousins, because there was a level of perfectionism that I was expected to perform. This rolled over into school, having good behavior, good grades. Teachers are telling me that I have to set an example. And let me tell you, it did not help when your father worked at the school too. Right. So I learned to be watchable. I had to perform well. There was never really a time for me to just be a kid and just be. Whenever I would whenever I would fall away from the standard that I was expected to hold, I'm quickly yanked right back in. And the repercussions were just too great. It wasn't worth it. So, as a small child, you can only imagine how stressful that can be. Because I'm learning at an early age that I have to overperform, even in my private time. Now, in my private time, I'm reliving the moment by wondering if I offended anyone or if the performance landed well, if people were satisfied. And then if I felt like I didn't perform well, now I'm spending my quality time to myself thinking about what to say and what to do the next time I see that person. So again, it was incredibly stressful. And this was going on for years. If you can understand what I'm saying, wherever you're receiving this, drop a heart, drop a comment. If you like my story, share my story. So this is an opportunity to take a reflective pause. What was unearthed as a result of hearing my story? Okay. Um, Notice how you felt when you heard my story, and ask yourself, when do you feel most like yourself? And really think about that. And also, this is also an opportunity for you to do a little bit of mirror work. Look at yourself in the mirror. Really go deep and see, how many masks are you wearing? And if you don't see a mask, all right, cool. But if you do, it's time to trust yourself to know that, number one, you see it for what it is. And two, you're willing to take it off. You're open to take it off. And that's where self-trust grows. That's how you learn how to trust yourself, and knowing if something is not feeling right, pivot, make whatever changes, instead of being influenced by your outside world to guide what you want and what you need. This is also an opportunity for you to be gentle with yourself, because when you're looking in the mirror and you see these masks and there's possible judgment that you're being fake. Nah, not at all. No, you were being adaptive because you needed to survive, to protect yourself from harm, mental, physical, emotional harm. So again, be gentle with yourself. You deserve it. You're here now. And you're in a space where you can look back at it and be in awe of yourself, because you made it. You survived it. You're in a place now where you can be at peace and unpack that shit. Oops, sorry. You know, drink a cup of tea and really look into it. So congratulations. Congratulations. We're here. So I have a couple more questions for you to take with you. And these are more like journal prompts. It's not an interview. If you like to journal, that's great. But if not, just listen to these questions and ask yourself some of these things to really get the ball rolling. Who am I at the moment no one asks anything of me? Where do I feel pressure to perform a version of myself? What parts of me only come out in solitude? And what would soften if I allowed myself to just be? Yeah, to just be. Can you imagine that? I can. And I know you can too. Well, that's it for today. I'm glad you tuned in, and we'll talk soon. I'd love to hear back from you. Reach out to me whenever you can, whenever you want. Let's build a dialogue. We can do this together. Peace. In the next episode of the Who Am I series, we're going to cover the names, labels, and stories that we have inherited as a result of being who we were in those other spaces. Okay, I'll see you then.